Hello and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your source for the finest 2A propaganda, brought to you by TNVC.com. Today I want to tell you about why Virginia falsely categorized 46,000 people as prohibited possessors and why 52 congressmen wrote an open letter to the ATF.
The AFT.
But first we're going to find out whether botnets manipulated the AFT's public comments for proposed rule changes for receivers and braces. Remember a few months ago how I just wouldn't shut up about asking you guys to comment? You guys did a fantastic job hammering them. Thank you.
Thanks, Lou.
Now John Crump has reported on an app developed by one of his viewers which categorizes these comments based on whether they support or oppose each rule. I wish we knew a little bit something about how the sorting was done, but I'd say it looks like it's pretty accurate because I'm subscribed to alerts from Everytown and Moms Looking for Action, and I received text messages on the 5th and 17th of August, which correspond to the dates of these two blue spikes on the graph for the receiver rule change. Now, some folks have speculated the comments could have been the target of bots because the back end of the web page allows documents to be uploaded directly. I'm not sure if that's really supported by this data, though. The text messages I got contained links to pre-filled forms which allowed users to simply copy-paste comments. Lots of pro-rights groups were doing similar campaigns, which can explain the red spikes. One thing which really jumps out from the data is that Bloomberg and the establishment steppers are way more scared of spooky boys than they are of short boys. If we assume the spikes are due to marketing campaigns, then the one thing which is super obvious is Mikey Bloomberg is willing to spend whole truckloads more money to stop home-built guns than he is for rifle and shotgun-like pistols. Which makes perfect sense, because if there's one thing the establishment is terrified of more than anything else, it is the democratization of force. That is why they are so invested in wedge issues in general, and that is why they have worked so hard to make gun rights a partisan issue. When the people as a whole can arm themselves without any government snooping or groveling around for permission from the state, oligarchs like Bloomberg start getting real nervous. In both cases, the comments were overwhelmingly opposed to the AFT's rule changes, and more than 500,000 comments were submitted altogether.
Too much!
There's no way for us to ever know if comments were manipulated either externally or internally by the AFT, and there's no reason we should trust them either. But if there was any manipulation, it certainly didn't hurt us. That doesn't mean the AFT is obligated to do or not do anything at all. Although we are a naturally competitive species, this wasn't a vote. The supposed purpose here is for the AFT to listen to the arguments and assess them on their merits, not their popularity. For now, we'll keep waiting for the AFT to have an opinion and waiting for some Chad to take them to court and let a court decide what the law says. But to do that, he'll have to get arrested, and the AFT's trademarked move nowadays is to avoid letting any of their policies see its day in court.
Hey, you! Do you want to see in the dark like a superhero? TNVC.com is your source for the finest night vision devices and accessories to make you the bump in the night.
Under federal law, it's illegal for anyone to buy or possess a gun if they have been adjudicated by a court as mentally defective or were involuntarily committed to a mental institution. The Commonwealth of Virginia has its own law prohibiting people from buying a gun if they have been voluntarily committed to a mental institution, which, by the way, is pants on head stupid. The last thing we want to do is provide any sort of disincentive to people seeking mental health treatment. If you're worried about them getting a gun, shouldn't you be a lot more worried about them deciding not to get help? In any case, a FOIA request by the GOA revealed Virginia has been submitting people to NICS if they were voluntarily committed. That wouldn't make any difference for them in the state of Virginia, of course. But if they moved to another state, they would be wrongfully prohibited from buying a gun until they were able to demonstrate to the FBI that they're not prohibited possessors. It's always best to avoid chalking anything up to malice if it could be explained by incompetence, and it doesn't really appear that this was remotely intentional. It appears that this issue was caused by badly coded automation software. Everyone who was committed was probably automatically coded by the computer as involuntary commission because it didn't have a code for other statuses. If you haven't heard, the AFT has been trying to repeal the rule that licensed dealers may destroy gun buyer paperwork after 20 years. If successful, it would mean dealers can never destroy the paperwork and must store it indefinitely or hand it over to the AFT to be stored at 244 Needy Road in Martinsburg, West Virginia. That would mean a de facto gun registry going back all the way to the year 2001 and stretching off into perpetuity in the future. Of course, that's a blatant violation of federal law. So 52 House Republicans signed an open letter to the AFT gently reminding them of Congress's wishes on the matter. I've included a list of all the good boys and girls down in the doobly-doo. So before you're finished here, be sure to check to find out whether your political has been naughty or nice, and then call them to scold or praise them as the case may be. Well, friends, that's all I have for you today, but before I go, I just want to take the time to remind you to check to see whether you are still subscribed to our channel. Our robot overlords in the tube of views know what we want better than we could possibly know for ourselves, so they just go ahead and unsubscribe viewers from any channels which express wrongthink, like this one. Now, you folks out there in TV land know censorship makes puppies cry, and Captain America is very disappointed. So don't forget to check every now and then just to be sure you're still subscribed to us, and while you're at it, make sure you ring that notification bell so you never miss a word of our gun rights propaganda. And if you want to get email alerts for the best deals, the projects we're working on, and the hottest stuff you missed on the ARFCOM forums, you'll also find a Linktree link down there in the doobly-doo for our newsletter. And remember, if you want to help us keep bringing you banger content like this, please support the folks who support us. Not only does TNVC.com give you night vision with that cool, refreshing, never bitter taste that goes down smooth, they also have mounts, lights, training, and all sorts of gear to make you the bump in the night. I love you.